Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about the various respiratory pigments found in different animal groups. Now, respiratory pigments are generally the compounds which help to transport respiratory gases. Respiratory pigments are generally the molecules of high molecular weight. It has a protein which is in the form of conjugated protein. So generally the respiratory pigments are protein in nature, but they are conjugated protein. They are combined with some metallic group, or they are combined with some other substance having a metallic group. So they are conjugated proteins. The protein combines with metallic group, which gives a characteristic color to the substance where these respiratory pigments are present. If they are present in blood, then it gives a characteristic color to the blood, whether it is blue, or whether it is green, or whether it is red. But when they impart color when they are oxygenated. Generally, they impart color to the body fluid. Why these respiratory pigments are necessary? The respiratory pigments are necessary because the oxygen, when it get dissolved from environment into the body fluid, the solubility of oxygen in the aqueous solution is less. However, the combining capacity or carrying capacity of oxygen is high with the respiratory pigment. It effectively get increased due to presence of respiratory pigments. So hence, the respiratory pigments are necessary for the transport of such respiratory gases like oxygen and CO2. There are different pigments in different phyla of animal, and even the several different pigments are found in the same phyla. Or you can say one pigment exists in more than one animal also. So there is variability in the appearance and existence of respiratory pigments in one or more animal phyla. Now let us first look about the general functions of respiratory pigments. What functions did the respiratory pigments perform? The main function of respiratory pigment is transport of gases, respiratory gases. That means oxygen and carbon dioxide. So main function is transport of respiratory gases. Along with or beside the transport of gases, it can store a little amount of oxygen. So respiratory pigment can store little amount of gas. The presence of respiratory pigment in the body fluid or in the blood helps to maintain the normal pH of the blood or the body fluid. So hence, we can say respiratory pigment act as a buffer to maintain the pH of normal pH of the solution where they are present. Respiratory pigment enhances the gradient for gaseous diffusion at a respiratory surface. That means at the alveolar surface and at the tissue surface. So they enhances the gradient for gaseous diffusion. Also, they can perform the transport of non-respiratory gases like NO, and they possibly have enzymatic functions also. So these are some functions of respiratory pigments. Now let us discuss one by one the four major respiratory pigments which are found in various groups of animals. There are some more other respiratory pigments also found in different groups, but we are here going to discuss only four major respiratory pigments which are found in different animal phyla. Let us now discuss one by one. Firstly, we are going to discuss the hemoglobin. Regarding hemoglobin, the first major and abundant respiratory pigment which is found in many animals, that is hemoglobin. So hemoglobin, it is widely distributed in many animal groups. It, when it is present in vertebrates, in case of vertebrates or chordate, when it is present in vertebrates, it is generally present in RBCs, that means in the erythrocyte. And here you can see inside the RBC the hemoglobin is present, and when it is present in invertebrates, it is dissolved in blood plasma. The oxygen carrying capacity of hemoglobin is high as compared to other respiratory pigment, and it is also an effective vehicle of oxygen transport. As it has a higher capacity of oxygen transport, so naturally it is a more effective vehicle for oxygen transport. It is synthesized in the liver cell. It is synthesized in the liver cell. Inside the liver cell, it is synthesized from acetic acid and glycine. So acetic acid and glycine, they combine together to form a porphyrin ring. This porphyrin ring then combines with iron to form the heme molecule. It forms the heme molecule. So let us see how it is synthesized. So acetic acid combines with glycine, or acetic acid and glycine, they interact to produce porphyrin. This porphyrin then combines with iron Fe to produce a molecule, complex molecule, that is heme. And these four molecules of the heme, they then combine with one molecule of complex protein, globin, and produces hemoglobin. This is a conjugate protein, hemoglobin. So this hemoglobin, it gives color to the blood. So presence of hemoglobin inside the RBC, it gives color to the RBC, and the presence of RBCs in the blood, it gives color to the blood. In case of human beings, hemoglobin is a tetramer. No, the name, it is a tetramer. So tetramer, that means it has four monomers. Now this hemoglobin in case of human being, it has two pairs of polypeptide chain, alpha and beta chains. So in this diagram we can see there are two alpha and two beta chain. So these are in orange color shown beta chains, and in this pinkish color that's shown the alpha chain. So this is a pair of beta chain, this is a pair of alpha chain, and these are four, you can say, heme molecules. These are four heme molecules. Now look at this. In case of heme molecule, this red color is iron, and around the red color, just like the ring which is present, that is porphyrin ring. So this iron plus porphyrin ring, it produces heme. Okay. And there are such four heme molecules which is present in one hemoglobin. So as we have here said that four heme combines with one globin to produce hemoglobin. So this one globin, that means one protein molecule, complex protein molecule, consists of four polypeptide chains, two alpha chains and two beta chains. And all these chains, they combine together along with heme to produce such conjugate protein, that is hemoglobin. This is the structural formula of hemoglobin. In the lower diagram you can see the molecular weight of hemoglobin is approximately 68,000 kilodaltons. So similar to hemoglobin, the hemoglobin is found in other vertebrates, but in case of vertebrates, the hemoglobin, when it is present in blood of various vertebrates, it differs in amino acid composition. That means in case of human beings, there is glycine, but in case of other vertebrates, there may be some other amino acid. Also, the arrangement of hemoglobin is may be different in different vertebrates, and oxygen binding characteristic also differ in various groups of vertebrates. It is generally dark red in color when it is in deoxidized state. That means when it has CO2, or when it do not have oxygen, it is dark red in color. But when it combines with oxygen, it becomes bright red in color. So here in this diagram, we can see this is a hemoglobin, and this hemoglobin it is not combined with oxygen. Here are the oxygen molecules which are freely present outside the hemoglobin. So this one is appearing something or somewhat dark red in color when the oxygen molecules are not associated with hemoglobin. And when, as soon as the oxygen molecule combines with hemoglobin, now the RBC become somewhat bright. Look at the shades of RBC, color of shades of RBC. In this, the RBC is some dark red in color, and in this, here the RBC is some bright red in color. So this is due to this presence of oxygen or uh, oxygen combining with hemoglobin. So when oxygen is not combined with hemoglobin, so it appears dark red, and when oxygen combines with hemoglobin, it appears bright red in color. And one hemoglobin, 1 gram of hemoglobin in case of human beings can carry up to 1.3 ml of oxygen in normal man. So these are the hemoglobin level in various, you can say, stages of human life. In case of child, or starting from the adult, in case of adult male, the normal level of hemoglobin is 13 to 18 gram per dl. In adult female, it ranges from 11 to 16.5 gram per dl. In full term baby, it is about 13.5 to 19.5 gram per dl. In infants, it is 8 to 10 gram per dl, and in child, it is having 10 to 13 gram per dl. So these are the normal levels of hemoglobin found in various age groups of the human beings and in various sexes of the human beings. Now, similar to hemoglobin, there is another molecule which is myoglobin, which can also be a respiratory pigment because it can also combine with oxygen, and it can also hold the oxygen in the muscles. So the hemoglobin which is present in the muscle may be referred as myoglobin. It is also a compound having iron, and it can bind with oxygen, and this type of iron and oxygen binding protein which is found in muscle tissue of the vertebrate is in general and in almost all the mammals, that is a myoglobin. Now it is similar to hemoglobin, it is related to hemoglobin, and it is abbreviated by MB. As the hemoglobin is abbreviated by HB, this myoglobin is abbreviated by MB. And single chain globular protein. This is a single chain globular protein having a 153 to 154 amino acids containing a heme, that means prosthetic group, in the center around which the remaining apoproteins are folded. So you can see in the structure here. So it has such the structure of myoglobin. It has 8 alpha helical alpha helixes. Here these are 8 alpha. This is a single chain protein, so it has such 8 alpha helix and hydrophobic cores. Also, it has a molecular weight of approximately 16,700 daltons. This myoglobin is the first protein which has revealed its three-dimensional structure. That means when the three-dimensional structure of protein was revealed, the first compound to be found having three-dimensional structure was the myoglobin. High concentration of myoglobin in the muscle cells allow the organisms to hold their breaths longer. Therefore, the occurrence of myoglobin is more in those type of aquatic mammals. It is more in aquatic mammals which are present in water, this myoglobin concentration. So generally, the diving mammals such as whale and seals, they have muscles with particularly high myoglobin abundance, and due to this, whenever this whale or seal, they lift their snout up, so through nostrils they breathe. That means they intake the oxygen. The oxygen which is taken in inside the body, this oxygen diffuses into the blood and it is carried up to the muscles. in the muscles, the myoglobin then hold this oxygen for longer time, and after that the fish again dives inside the water. So the diving mammals like fishes and seals, they can remain underwater for longer time due to this ability, having myoglobin in their muscle, and that myoglobin can hold the oxygen, and that oxygen can be supplied, or that can be used for various metabolic activities. So hence they can remain, or they can hold their breath and remain underwater for longer time. So this is about the myoglobin. Then next respiratory pigment is hemocyanin. This is the structure of hemocyanin. Generally, this is uh, blue in color when it is deoxygenated. So it is found in gastropods. That means it is found in mollusks and arthropods. In the mollusk, it is found in gastropods and cephalopods, and in the arthropods, it is found in crustaceans, arachnids, and horseshoe crabs. It is a respiratory pigment having a metallic group copper. So, copper containing protein having a molecular weight of approximately 1 to 7 million daltons. One hemocyanin molecule contain two copper atoms and can combine with one O2 molecule. In the diagram, you can see here are two copper molecules. This is one copper molecule, this is another copper molecule, and combined with one O2. This is one O, this is second O. So combined with one O2. So this structure of hemocyanin, simple structure of hemocyanin. It is, as we have said, it is blue in color in deoxygenated state, but it is colorless, or it is white when get oxygenated. It is never present inside any cell. It is always found suspended freely into the body fluid or the blood. The next one is hemocyanin. Now, hemocyanin is found in some polychaetes, some peanut worms, and some brachiopods. It is also a ion. The name itself, heme. So it is a ion containing protein having molecular weight of approximately 1 lakh dalton, and one heme erythrin molecule contains several ion atoms, Fe atoms, and each O2 molecule can combine with 2 to 3 Fe atoms. It is brownish in deoxygenated state, but it is purple when get oxygenated, and it is contained within coelomocytes. That means these are present inside some cells, not necessarily blood cells, but these are the uh, body fluids, coelomic fluid cells, which circulate freely with coelomic fluid. So they are present in these coelomocytes. Then last uh, respiratory pigment is chlorochlorine. So it is found in two families of marine polychaetes. Then it is also a iron containing protein having molecular weight of approximately 3 million daltons. The structure of chlorochlorine is similar to hemoglobin, except the heme group. In case of hemoglobin, it contains vinyl group, and here it is replaced by formyl group. As with hemoglobin, one oxygen combines with each of the four heme group. Here also it is the same, and this chlorochlorine is appearing green in both state when it is deoxygenated or when it get oxygenated. So it occurs in suspended form in the blood or body fluid. So this is about all the four major respiratory pigments. Here we have a common chart showing various characteristics of respiratory pigment. So you can here you can see these are the four respiratory pigments. In this column, we have shown their color, of which color they are found in either body fluid or you can say corpuscles, what type of metallic group it has, and where it is located, the site or location, whether it is in the corpuscles, that means in the blood, cells or in the plasma, and the sources, that means in which type of animal they are found, and approximate molecular weight is also given. So this is a chart or the table showing characteristics of respiratory pigment. So this is all about respiratory pigment. Here we are going to stop, and in further videos we are coming with another topics. Thank you.